Hey everyone, it's Michael, GoosebumpsFan. I hope you're doing well today. I have another Goosebumps episode review for you from Season 2. Of course, this is my bootleg box set thing I got from eBay by accident. This is Season 2, Episode 18. It came out on February 1st, 1997. How to Kill a Monster. It's an adaptation of one of the old classic Goosebumps books. I think it's number 46, I want to say. I just reviewed it. I think it was number 46. Now today I finished up one book. It was from Goosebumps Series 2000, I Am Your Evil Twin. Read like 70 pages, whatever the left remainder was after the first 30 pages was. I finished it, and then I read another book until my wife woke up. That was How to Kill Your Monster, or How to Kill a Monster. I've never read either of those books before ever. I've never seen this episode adaptation of that book either. So, this was an interesting experience. The book was mostly good, and then it kind of became underwhelming by the end of it. But I'll tell you this, I was very impressed with this episode. It didn't do what I thought it would do when I reviewed the book. In the book, I kind of wondered if it would lean more into the goofiness aspect, or if it would lean more into the atmospheric, into the tension that builds up in that story, and how fast-paced that book is. And it kind of went more that route than the goofy route, which surprised me. And they didn't even, change some of the things I hated. There's very few things I disliked about that How to Kill a Monster book, particularly the ending. I won't spoil it for you, this is a spoiler-free channel. But they actually took the ending, instead of changing the ending, they tweaked it, which really worked. They tweaked it, and it really worked, and it kind of saved it for me. I genuinely enjoyed this episode a lot. I think it's better than the book. I think it's better than I Am Your Evil Twin that I just read today as well. Just through and through. The 20-minute episode itself, the single standalone episode, it worked. I really liked it. I really enjoyed this. It doesn't surprise me. It's directed by Ron Oliver. Let me read you off some of the things that Ron Oliver has done for Goosebumps as the TV show. He's done many of my favorite episodes on this show, and some really good standalone episodes too that are worth mentioning. Bride of the Living Dummy, he directed that. Werewolf Skin Part 1 and Part 2. Yeah, that's a Part 1, Part 2. Say Cheese and Die. The Ghost Next Door. Welcome to Camp Nightmare. Let's see, Cry of the Cat, Vampire Breath, How I Got My Shrunken Head, Part 1 and Part 2, Let's Get Invisible, Deep Trouble, Part 1, Part 2, that's a rough one, a real rough one, but it's alright. Not a Living Dummy, what is this, Part 2? Yeah, Not a Living Dummy 2, How to Kill a Monster, like I talked about, Say Cheese and Die Again, Deep Trouble, let's see, what else is there, The Perfect School, Part 1 and Part 2, which is real weak. But Ron Oliver has a great track record. I really, really, really like his work. And this is a great example of that. Ron Oliver will try to put the budget that he gets in the right places when they give him a solid budget. And this is a fantastic example of that to describe that. Ron Oliver is a master of Goosebumps. I really believe that, along with Timothy Bond and William Fruit, however you say his name. I need to find that out. I always add on however you say his name every single time I mention that poor guy's name here on my channel. So if you happen to know, please let me know down in the comment section below. If you know it officially, that's how it's pronounced. Anyway, Season 2, Episode 18. What is this episode about? Basically, a girl and a boy, Gretchen and Clark, are step-siblings, and they're going out to Gretchen's grandparents who live out in a swamp. And they're going to go out there and stay a while with them. In the book, you get more of an idea of what's the reason for that. I read it today, and I don't even remember. I read it a little while ago, and I don't even remember. By the way, I thought I wouldn't get this review up until tomorrow on Easter Sunday. That's not the case. I can get it up today. So, happy Easter for all you folks out there. Hope you know Jesus. I say that in a Goosebumps or book review, or movie review, episode review, something like that. So they're going out to the grandparents' house who live in a swamp. Now in the book it's described as a big old castle, like an actual castle from like a fairy tale type of thing. They don't go for that in this episode because it's an adaptation and it's a low-budget TV show. But they actually did something kind of cool. I'm pretty sure it's a set that they built, or at least the outside exterior of the house. But it's basically like a relatively modest-sized mansion in the middle of the swamp. And it's kind of nice. I kind of dig it. It's very run down, but the inside is kind of not a complete loss. It's kind of homey. I like how they captured the castle itself. In the book doesn't have many windows. It has like 4 or 5 windows on the entire structure, and not every room, including bedrooms, not all of them have windows. And here they kind of maintain that. I really like that. This is relatively faithful to that book and kind of improves in a lot of ways. For a 20-minute episode adaptation of a 112-page book, it really pulls that off, and I really like what it did here. I think the two kids that played Clark and Gretchen, they're really good. The grandparents, the grandfather especially, I really love both of them. I think they both were good here for the very small amount of time they were in this episode. I think they were there maybe 5 minutes in total for showtime. But that's really it, or screen time, whatever. I'm all over the place today, guys. I've been reading a lot. I have a lot of energy now that my allergies aren't so bad. And by the way, that's a big thing. What are the odds that of all the books and all the episodes I could have read, that this would be the one at this time where just today I woke up after taking NyQuil for the first time this allergy season, that I wake up and I don't feel like a mess. I have some energy. I feel great. And I could run a friggin' mile. And then this episode and book happened to have mentions of allergies, and it's kind of that summertime season for this particular episode. And I really like that, by the way, the setting of it being kind of a summerish, swampy thing. Everybody's sweating throughout the entire episode, which is cool and weird. I don't see that much in Goosebumps or in movies anymore, so that was a cool little detail to add into this, to really come across with how probably humid it is out there, I would say. It really adds a lot to this atmosphere. And as I said, just like the book, the tension builds on this, and it gets more and more quick as it goes. About the halfway point of this 20-minute episode, so about 10 minutes into this whole thing, it just really takes off. It gets fun and wild and weird. And I will say this, the monster that the title of the episode refers to, the same one that I talked about in the book, it does look very different from what the book describes, thank God. This actually looks like a creatively thought-about monster. It doesn't sound like just a combination of all kinds of random crap. Like, it has bear claws, and it has this and that, and this and that. It doesn't do that. This is an actual monster design, and very clever, in my opinion, as well as a monster design. I think the way they incorporate some details of this monster into the show is really neat. I like it a lot. It kind of looks like a dragon, but kind of not. But I love the way the costume looks. It is a costume on a person, and it looks great. It's really good for a Goosebumps monster costume. You don't get a whole lot of big special effects or big practical effects like this in a lot of these episodes. So I was kind of shocked to see that. I hadn't seen this episode before, like I said, so to come across something like that, never really seeing this much in like any kind of Goosebumps intros in the beginning of the shows or anything like that. I've never seen this monster design before in the Goosebumps TV series. So I was kind of surprised. It kind of took me a little bit by surprise, frankly. It looks really good. And I like the monsters, like, gurgle, scream, roar, whatever it is. It's good. It actually sounds something different. You remember back in the day when not every sound effect sounded the same in movies? Not every laser rifle or everything was like a ripoff of Star Wars? Remember those days? I remember those days. I was a 90s kid. I watched a lot of cartoons. I remember a lot of things being very unique in their sound design. And this is a great example of that. It doesn't sound like every crappy monster you've seen in the newest whatever sci-fi movie that comes out nowadays. It sounds pretty good and pretty unique for this episode. So that was kind of cool. And like I said, they tweaked the ending that I had a problem with that fixed it, frankly. Because the ending of the book is what really kind of... And I mean, when I say the ending, I mean like the last couple of chapters of that book, How to Kill a Monster, is what kind of ruined the overall book for me. Maybe kind of rate it lower than it actually felt like most of the book. It should have been rated higher. It kind of surprised me a little bit how much this episode really fixed it. It just shows how important Ron Oliver is to this series, how important he is to the fandom, because he really represented all of us in a lot of a very important way, I want to say. So anyway, I'm very happy with the episode. If you can't tell, I do, and like I said earlier, I like it more than the book. Easily, hands down, no questions asked. If I was ever going to go through and marathon the episodes, this is one of the ones that are kind of the more middle-of-the-road episodes that I would kind of be excited to watch again because of how surprising it was and the detailing, and how good the kid actors were, too. They were really fun here. The grandparents, again, they were really good, too. The monster's really good. The sound design is good. I love the music in the episode, too. It always makes me think with this very standalone acoustic guitar noise, it always makes me think that it's eventually going to blossom out into the theme song from The Stand from 1994, the Stephen King movie. It sounds like that acoustic guitar is just about to go to that song. It's so great. You know the song if you've seen that show, or that miniseries, that movie, whatever you want to call that thing. And I love it. It just makes me smile every time I watch it because I love The Stand from 1994. Anyway, what are your thoughts on How to Kill a Monster. Did you love this episode? Did you hate it? Did you like the book better? Do you like the TV episode better? Let me know all that down in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this. If I had to rate it on a 5-star basis, I would probably give this episode about a 4 out of 5 stars. It's a big improvement on what the book was. And if the book had ended the way this one ended, with the kind of gross out type of ending that it had, I think it works way better, and I would have rated that book a 4 out of 5 stars too if it had been like this. This really shows that people like Ron Oliver are a great filter when it comes to adapting something from a book to an episode or a movie or anything, because he understands what needs to be there and what should probably not be there and probably wouldn't translate well. But I had a good time. Very fun episode. Very, very surprisingly fun episode. I didn't expect this to be as good because of how the book ended. I thought they'd kind of ruin it. But they did some good stuff. They set up some things. I liked it. Really good recommendation from me. If you haven't seen How to Kill a Monster as an episode, I recommend it. Not really the book. More of the episode, you know? So anyway, what are your thoughts? Put them down below, guys. Thank you for watching. God bless you again. Happy Easter once again, and goodbye.